about what kind of government we have and to what extent the federal government had a right to overrule the laws that are passed by the states. You know, I mean, slavery happened to be the substance of it, but fundamentally it was about...
Well, isn't that's enough for me to be like, no, if the flag, the substance is based on slavery, no, that flag should not be.
I just think that a lot of these arguments are sort of subversive. I think that for the most part, because, you know, you said earlier, you have to draw the line between the Confederates and the Founding Fathers. Well, the Founding Fathers owned slaves. So would you say that the Founding Fathers owned slaves? That's morally reprehensible. America fought a war to end slavery. So we need to topple the monuments of all the slave owners?
No, that's not what I'm saying, because the basis of the American flag it represents freedom and the basis of America. The Confederate flag...
Yeah, but don't you see how that's bullshit?
To secede.
Very specifically German philosophy. It's altogether separate from the other kinds of fascism on the continent at the time. And so for us to fly that here, it'd be like, it's like when these tankies are flying a communist flag, like the hammer and sickle flag. I don't think it'd be appropriate to fly that here either. Or even a Russian flag. I make a joke sometimes on flying a Russian flag, but I would never do a rally and have Russian flags flying because it's foreign, it's not from here. The Confederacy is part of American history, and the people that fought for the Confederacy, that was important to them, it was important to their ancestors, it was important to their descendants, and they're part of the country too. And put another way, in Russia, they don't apologize for the legacy of Stalin. They don't apologize for the legacy of communism. I like that about Russia. They all recognize that Stalin was brutal, and that communism was bad, and that it killed lots of people, and it was horrible, but they're also not going to sort of attack themselves and their own history and say, oh, we're so sorry, that was the worst thing ever. They choose to focus on the good aspects of their history, and the bad things they're acutely aware of, but they're not going to allow them to the consciousness and poison their own identity. And I feel like Germany, it would probably be better if they did something similar to that, because in Germany, they're committing suicide as a country because of guilt over the Nazis. America is committing suicide as a nation because of guilt over slavery. So many of these things, we're not allowed.
I don't understand that statement. How are they committing suicide because of guilt over slavery?
Because if you look at Germany, or if you look at the United States, we are making bad decisions. Like for example, crime right now is out of control. Crime is surging in every major city. Carjackings are surging in every major city. And so because we were trying to placate people, and because we were trying to appease or ameliorate our bad history, we decided that we were going to not have law and order. We decided we were going to not have the backs of the police. And now it has a terrible outcome, and we're all supposed to live with that because we feel bad about bad things that our ancestors did or other people's ancestors did 150 years ago. And so it's very poisonous to have this constant refrain about our original sin, our country was never perfect, our country was not good. It's something that's very damaging to this American consciousness.
Nick can feel it. Fuentes can feel it.
How does that affect Germany?
Go.
Germany committed suicide. That's
putting the press on me.
Understand why they banned that flag and why they try to ban that ideology after that happened.
But he's actually not making a good argument. I would know what to say.
And now any German that is too right wing and says like we should
he's not really.
refugees out,
Because he didn't really explain the Civil War all that well.
Millions of people.
That's what I was going to say. Shouldn't he have like doubled down on explaining the Civil War?
It wasn't about slavery. It was about economics and power from the north.
Because the country is your home, and the country is the people that are similar and like you.
And I remember,
not like you come in, they could start messing
from what I remember, it was the North putting levies and taxes on the South exports to Europe, which made things a lot harder for the South economically.
We are terrible people.
And that's why the South revolted, because they had enough of the centralization of the U.S. federal government.
And basically then international.
And then Abraham Lincoln made it about slavery 2 years into the war.
And basically just have their way with you.
Yeah, because he needed like a reason for Europe and everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. That's a point he should be making. There were foreign powers involved in the Civil War. No one even knows about that.
And how do you combat things like racism, very clear racism, because whether, I don't know what you're going to say about that, but slavery, how do you combat those ideas without fully embracing the guilt? How do you balance that? Because after
he probably just got a bunch of people shitting on him,
you need to change the way
saying he ruined his career because he went to bat for a white supremacist. And he probably really got in his head about it. And he's probably really thinking about it. And then he also got some talking points from like Adam 22 or something.
You can't have black people be treated like property. You need a balance. What's that balance look like to you? Which I think is important because
so he just wants to see if this kid's for real or not.
You're only looking at the country as a whole and immigration and all these topics, but you're excluding a big portion of the population.
Which is who, black people?
Yeah.
Well, I would say that it depends on the context. I would probably be more in agreement with you and Catholics historically were 150 years ago when there were attitudes that were very negative towards black people in the country. I would say now that's fundamentally different. I don't think there is a very substantial racist element in America anymore. And if there is, I think it's very marginal, and I think it's blown out of proportion. And I say on my show, I make it a point to distinguish what I'm in favor of and what I'm against. And here's what I'm in favor of. I think that everybody should be treated, and I said this at my speech at APPAC too, which is our big conference. I said every person, regardless of their race,
I should bring Myron like this.
That's dignity,
disgusting.
equal rights, and what I'm against is cruelty, prejudice, discrimination. I would never say, oh, you're black, I'm going to treat you differently. You're black, I'm going to discriminate against you. I'm going to demean you. I think differently about you. But we've got to be specific because what they say is you're racist. And what does racist mean? If you ask 50 people, you're going to get 50 different answers. Some people say that if you have too many white people in a given room, that's racist, which means negative towards minorities. Some people say that it's impossible to be racist against white people because racism is
oppression.
Right. So that's why you got to be specific.
I mean, like, maybe we went on a live stream.
You know, I don't want to hear about someone being treated unfairly because of who they are.
People are going to be like,
totally against that. I'm totally unequivocally against that. It's contradictory to Catholicism specifically and Christianity broadly. But as far as we need to start tearing down monuments and we're going to change the names of parks, in some cases by mobs, in some cases the government doesn't even do it. Like during 2020, it was just people into the
oh,
city
good.
and just knocking it down and throwing it in the river. We can't have a country that's run by mob rule like that. And certainly I don't think that who should have a statue should be dictated by the passions of a mob.
Get in the spirit.
You know,
People should think about living in a city that has a Robert E. Lee statue. Do you think from that perspective?
yeah, and again, I understand that in terms of somebody like Robert E. Lee or Nathaniel Bedford Forrest, I think that's a better example, because Nathaniel Bedford Forrest was in the Ku Klux Klan. He's another one that they try to defend the statue. And that one, I don't know, it's like there's a gray area. How does white people feel?
That statue should be taken down, in my opinion. That should not be. We should not celebrate. The statue is celebrating these people.
I would say that it's tricky because, and I say that as somebody who, listen, it's not like I'm somebody that would be totally welcome in that era. I'm Italian and Irish and Catholic.
Yeah, he's actually right
The Ku
about
Klux
that.
Klan hated all those people. It's tricky because once you start that process again, if you say, well, you're in the Ku Klux Klan, so obviously your statue's got to go. Well, you fought for the Confederacy, so obviously your statue's got to go. Well, George Washington owned slaves. Are we really going to say, well, you fought for the side that owned slaves and you owned people, and you're going to say that owning people is so much better than not owning people, but fighting to own people? And so the problem is it completely pulls the rug out of history, because unfortunately the world is built on slavery, genocide, war. No, there's a difference between
is in
together in America on an equal basis.
I know that. And even some of my favorite people, like Malcolm X, I really look up to, he thought the same things, that they should have lived together, but the core principles weren't based in that.
Yeah, they were.
It was though. They did not believe Washington and Jefferson and even Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln said, if I could win the Civil War without freeing a single slave, I would do that. So Abraham.
Yeah, you should bring up Abraham's own words.
Having political equality for.
He said much worse shit than that.
Under strong central government. I'm just trying to challenge maybe your preconceived notions about these people. The point is that the past is filled with sins. The past is filled with these kinds of attitudes, and you could go back to the Bible and you'll find people slaughtering other nations or slaughtering other villages. And again, where do you draw the line?
That's true, but shouldn't you also consider how people idolize these people today? If you keep a KKK statue up, what does that do today? That gives people an idol to look at who support the KKK. If you look at the idea of how Abraham Lincoln is represented today, now I'm seeing how that's erasing history. Because, yeah, maybe people misrepresent Abraham Lincoln if he didn't even care about slavery in the first place. But you gotta realize that most people are not going to look at history correctly. They have a different representation today, and maybe that's more important to look at how the normies are going to look at these people rather than what they represented at that time. If people think that Abraham Lincoln was pro-freedom of the slaves, then maybe we should let that go. Maybe the preservation of history is not as important as we're making it out to be, because just, if you're being realistic, most people are not going to look back at it correctly. History's always changing. History's always written by the victor.
But and here's the thing, though, is I'm not a Southerner, and I don't have any particular affinity for Robert E. Lee or and not a particular. I have a general affinity because I think he's a great general, so he has admirable traits in that way. But for the people of the South, it means a lot to them. And if you look at the history of Reconstruction, a lot of these towns in the South resources they have. Their entire nation was destroyed. Their land was destroyed. Like, the war happened in the south, not in the north, so all their wealth was destroyed, and then they were occupied militarily by the north for decades by Carpetbaggers. And so a lot of these cities, they would cobble together their meager resources and build statues commemorating their brothers, commemorating their fallen, their heroes, their civic leaders, their ancestors. And so that is part of their identity, it's part of the fabric of who they are and what it means to be a Southerner to them. And the point is, like,
Oh my god.
Relax. I got it, dude. Relax. We'll be good. We'll do this one more time. Careful.
or Lincoln or Washington or Jefferson, and the same standards that you're applying to Nathan's Bedford Forest and Robert E. Lee. Statues up. People that have been trying to set the country on the right course for a long time. Now, people just need to know the truth. People have to wake up. And I am less interested in.
They won't. The vast majority of people won't. So
He's kind of making a point there.
Pill and 7 layers of ham to feed it to the vast. There's so many people in this country. There's so many different.
Yeah, I don't think everybody
It's
should
never
be
going to work like that. Think about
woken up, and I still think it's about controlling, like,
Yeah. Controlling the current
like,
thing.
yeah, I think a lot of people are meant to be peasants, and they should stay
You
there.
don't want to compromise. I
And we
relate
need
to you
them.
on that level, but you just have to. And it's the mistakes that we've both made, and that's why we're ending up on these alternative platforms. Can you admit that if we had compromised a little bit more, and if we had watered it down
Compromise a little
to the
more.
majority of people, then what's more important would end up in the minds of people. We can stick to what's really important and how I could really reach the level of people that I want to reach, and you could probably reach the level of empowerment that you want to reach if you had compromised some of these.
No, and I think that's a very dangerous conceit because here's the thing: if you're what's going on right now is not passive; it's active. America is being ruined. We have an elite that hates us. We have an elite that is wrecking the country because they're putting their own best interest at the expense of the interest of the country. They're doing what's good for them, not what's good for America. They're corrupt, and so to me, it's a very dangerous idea that
You can see the look on Fuentes' face. He's like, it's over. It's over with this kid.
That's part of the uncomfortable truth.
But he's sticking in there for the fight.
Not everybody is going to, and you need to compromise a little bit to be successful and to reach everybody that you could reach. Because now think about how many people, every time somebody makes a documentary about me, they bring up how you're a Nazi, they bring up how you're a white supremacist.
We gotta fight against it. We gotta fight the powers.
Alienated because they hear these words and they're turned off. And a lot of people are just not ready
low
to
IQ.
hear the truth. And the amount of power
His Haitian's like really coming out right now.
Yeah.
that people are hearing.
You should say that right now. Your Haitian side's coming out right now.
Yo, could you imagine if Fuentes said that to him? Dude,
I agree with you that you got to be strategic. I agree with
That would probably hurt him so hard.
Have a concern about logistics and things like that. But, and this is what I was trying to get at, you're going against the system. The system is going to punish you. It's unavoidable that if you're telling the truth in any capacity, they're going to try and strip that from you. Your access to your access to the money, your access to people is contingent on you not being a threat to the system. Look at Ye, look at Trump, look at Andrew Tate, look at Alex Jones, look at you, look at me, look at Bannon. There's the only way, and increasingly it's like this, the only way that you're going to be able to have access to these things is if you explicitly submit and bend the knee and say, I surrender to Zog, I surrender to Moloch, I'm not a Goyber, I am not an anti-Semite, I am not those things. And at a certain point, there's this time for choosing where you got to say, the pain box, the social backlash, the whatever that comes with confronting the system, it's baked into the cake. It's our job to, well, maybe not so much you, because, and here's the thing, I always said this about you and Tate, this isn't really your job, and in the sense that I don't think you see yourself as a political actor, I think you see yourself as an entertainer, and to some extent a truth teller. I mean, I'm a political guy, and insofar as I'm a political guy, it's a political problem that we've got to push through censorship and media control and all these kinds of things. And if it were so simple as just being tactful and just kind of playing close to the chest, well, people have been doing that for a long time. But we've got to be bold and tell the truth. And there are going to be misunderstandings. There are going to be consequences. But it's our job.
We're done. We're done.
Because you get the most flack when you're flying over the target. We can't stop flying over the target because we get flack. And I understand from your perspective, and I told you this, when you got me in on YouTube, what did I say? I said, don't have me on your show. I said, you keep your platforms. I said, you go on Twitch and you just play it as safe as possible because, right? I mean, I didn't tell you to go and be a martyr.
For doing nothing. I got banned on Twitch for eating a salad. Part of the compromise, and I realized this today, because my first stream on Rumble, I was saying faggot. I said faggot maybe like 50 times. Faggot, 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 faggot. And then I started thinking about the long term. So what's more beneficial is having more people on Rumble, having more of the normies trickle into here, and wrapping it a little bit of ham. And my chat started saying, faggot, faggot. I'm telling you, like, it's better to not say this word so that more people, because, like, think about how many people are just going to be alienated by that. Think about how many people are just not, so that's a compromise. That's the same compromise I can see in some of the statues. Like, maybe, yes, it's just a word, it doesn't mean that much. It doesn't mean I'm homophobic, it's just a fun word to say. But you got to think long term. And if I want more people to come to Rumble, if I want to reach more people, it's like, okay, do I have to say this word? That's the same thing as taking down a KKK statue.
Well, the problem is that the people that want to take down the KKK statue, I guarantee that the majority of people that want to see that statue go, they also want to see Robert E. Lee go, and I'm sure they want to see Columbus go, and probably half of them want to see Jefferson go. So it's like, there's this conceit in politics where you make compromises to try to win over people.
Yeah, it's like a gay marriage
compromise.
They just want to get married. They just want to get married.
Then like now they're like fucking kids.
All the people that mostly agree with me support the monuments being up. And all the people that fundamentally disagree with me want the statue to come down. So should I go out there in an effort to appeal to people that think America was founded by slave owners and there's poison pill from the very beginning? Should I make a compromise to win them over, which I never will, and in the process lose the support of the people that do agree with me? People that say, oh, I can't believe you sell out American history, blah, blah, blah. So, and I'm not trying to shut you down because I agree with you. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be thoughtful about your approach. I'm not saying that you shouldn't you know, understand who your audience is and talk to a particular audience. And yeah, so sometimes you can make a joke, and sometimes it's not the time to say faggot or zog or whatever. You know, there's a time and a place for everything. But I would only talk, I'll just give you a little devil's advocate here. I'll really put back and say, that's a great
We're watching it now, but
and
should
what I
also
found since I started the show is that
after
it works in a counterintuitive way. That's how Republicans have always thought, is like, let's bend over backwards to win over these black voters, and they never win them over. And in the process, they just lose their white voters, which are dutifully ready to show up and cast their vote. And it's like, and that's just how it happens to break down for Republicans in particular. It's like, that's not to say that we should
get something in your belly.
But it is to say,
Is this what you
why are
told
we creating a platinum plan and the First Step Act? The blacks are even going to vote for us, and in the process, we lose all the white people that voted for law and order. You know, so it's that's why I say it's tricky. That's why I say it's not as simple as.
Why can't you apply that same logic? If you were telling me before I got my switchmaker, saying don't have me on, play it safe, why can't you apply that exact same logic to your political approach?
Because I think we're trying to do two different things. You know, because my whole life was always sort of set up to be this way in a certain sense. I'm antisocial. I'm a eccentric person. I'm an antagonist. That's my personality, and what I set out to do.
Yeah, that's so true. He is an antagonist. That's just his personality.
This was coming from day one, and I knew that I could survive it and handle it and live with it. And I think that you're somebody who, you know, you're more mainstream, you're more of a cultural figure, and to somebody like you, does it make sense? Is it the hill to die on? Do you want to defend little old me, you know, or a particular view? And it's a question of what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, it was great to talk to you. I can shoot for 5 hours. I'm tired as hell. Shout out to Cozy. Thanks for this conversation. I think this is going to be interesting. More discussion like that. Just don't be on.
He's about to rip him now.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That's racist. You gotta watch your approach. All right, good talking to you, man. See you. All right. Okay. Well, there you go. That was our conversation with Sneako.
Don't be on Black People Talk Clubs.
Yeah, okay, I just pulled up my screen there on accident. All right. Okay, well, that was different. Let me just get a sip of water here. All right. Well, that was our conversation with Sneako.
He has weird gestures with his
have him
hands.
on for a chat.
Yeah, like the way he does things.
He's right. I want he's calling out for being like.
He's got like these big hands, I feel, for his body.
Look at what his thumbs are like.
Yeah, double
bad.
jointed too.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that was an interesting conversation.
You know, he goes like
Now,
this.
people are saying,
Yeah, like fingers side down.
Yeah, very weird.
Listen, it's okay.
Yeah, you see his fingers are like concord.
You know, because he's honest, and
Dude, those
And
fingers.
runs look really
He's
good.
friendly.
In the picture, now I'm looking
I'm
at
gonna be
it.
an asshole. You know, if I was like, oh, you know, Sneako's only cool when he comes on and says, oh yeah, you're totally right about everything, I would be a total douchebag. You know? So, and for what it's worth, I get where he's coming from. I get it. And I think a lot of people feel similarly. I think that what he said tonight is actually closer to maybe how your average mainstream person in America feels about those things, and maybe probably most black people. So to hear that perspective, to hear his point of view, I don't think he's out of line. I don't think he's wrong to say any of that. I think it's an interesting conversation. I think he's right, to some extent. But I do think you have to balance these different considerations. Like I said, we've been having these kinds of conversations for years on the show. When I went to Charlottesville, we were having these conversations.
I mean, it's true. Like he is kind of like in an echo chamber. Like most people aren't exposed to the information stuff.
And then there was that
Fuentes
I'm saying Fuentes is in an echo chamber because he's so like he's like so censored that it's like he's like in his own corner with all the glory. Everybody else is not exposed to the information he's talking about. So it's like a shock. You have to be like really, you have to really lube up these kinds of people. I think that's like what like Sneako is basically talking about. Like compromise is a bad word because it means it sounds like you're like giving up like pieces of yourself. But you have to be really, you just have to be really, really like lube these people up to your ideas.
I have no idea why you're saying that.
Which I think overall Fuentes
Of
does,
course we understand.
but there's way too many clips of him when he was like 18 talking about, I don't know, you
But
know,
you have
just
to
like
interrogate. You have to look at
throwing juice nuggets or something.
And maybe, and that's why I'm trying to play devil's advocate here and give our side. Because maybe it's a little bit more counterintuitive. And say that while American values aren't the same as the values of the Ku Klux Klan, you have to ask yourself, who built the statue and why do we have statues? And maybe that all...
That's the thing. Those questions with nuance can never be asked because some douchebag or reporter or some guy on Twitter will always be like, so you support the statue of the KKK? You know, there's always a question that, or low IQ question that will derail a conversation.
Why do we have holidays? Why do we have heroes? Why do we name our holidays after particular heroes?
Really, all Fuentes is doing is just like advocating for, like, you know, a productive conversation.
What does it mean to be an American? There are people that would say, well, the Confederacy took up arms against the United States, it's anti-American. And again, I think all of us would understand that premise. I don't think, again, any one of us would say, oh, I totally don't understand that, I totally don't understand where they're coming from. You understand the argument, you get where they're coming from. If the Confederates took up arms against the sovereign federal government of the United States, which is the current government, then why would you support their battle flag? And the question is, what does battle flag mean? And what did it mean to them? What did it mean to them then? And what does it mean to them now? And then you have to ask yourself about principles. If the standard, if the principle is that Robert E. Lee supported
Yeah, like he didn't really get into it.
That was against our current regime. Does that mean that he's not American? Does that mean he's not a patriot? He's not a part of American identity?
But do you think Sneako's watching this afterward? He's watching it right now.
Maybe just a little, just to catch some of it.
Is it wrapped up in particular flags and squabbles? There have been a lot of civil conflicts in the history of the nations and the history of the world.
I think he should
There
have
were
put him in
Russian
because I think he probably knows that Sneako's going to watch this.
Yeah. I think he knew
I
that.
think he low-key probably wants to win.
But a lot of
Yeah.
Russians.
I think I saw that in his
But I
face.
think he sees that it's probably also beneficial for him to keep good relations with Sneako because Sneako still has a really good alliance.
Yeah, exactly.
So if he could keep Sneako on his side, it's kind of like
Yeah. So exactly. So he's being very political right now. Putting aside his personal feelings and saying the right things. And that's why he's a good politician.
And that's why I use the example of Stalin. Stalin was a brutal dictator who forced a famine that killed millions.
That's what I can't figure out though. Is that like,
Collectivization of agriculture is what did
does he
that.
really want to rip him?
Persisted in
Or is this
it.
true? Is this the truth right now? Or does he really feel like there's goodwill?
And I think almost anybody would say that
So,
Stalin.
I think there is
that he
some
was,
partial truth
atheist,
there,
that he was,
right?
Yeah.
dyed-in-the-wool
But
Marxist,
I also
really
think
cared
that
about Marxism.
it's kind of
But Russia's
completely
found a way
glancing
to
over
create a
the
thread
obvious,
between Peter the Great
which is that once somebody comes out with that sort of like notion, like, oh, like you should just like, you know, just sell out basically a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it says a lot about that person.
Yeah. Which you would want to say.
Yeah, which you would want to address immediately. I think in your head it almost kind of clicks a box sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep, can't trust it.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
You know,
But and that the only thing really stopping him from burning the bridge is that Sneako didn't come out and trash him.
The rise of Germany in the second and third wave
Well,
of the
that's it,
Industrial
yeah.
Revolution.
But because if Sneako trashed him, then
Here's the
Fuentes
thing.
would be like, all right, now I
Here's
can
the thing.
trash you.
Sneako, either way, I
was
think
established after the Napoleonic.
Fuentes wins no matter what.
And posed a real
Look at how
threat
much
to
Sneako
Russia,
exposed him to.
as we know,
At no
particularly
charge.
Yeah.
But Sneako got destroyed
And so,
just for trying to bring this kid out of the woodworks, which is like, alright, cool.
On his own
Yeah, on his own platform.
But Russia and Germany have this historical rivalry.
Like, it was probably just
And so
pure
who tells the
stupidity on
story about
Sneako's
Stalin
part.
that he
That's
brought
probably what all these
Russia
other
from
YouTubers are trying to warn him
agricultural
of.
country to an industrial country.
But
Yeah.
Sneako probably still wants to have some, like, recognition of the truth. Yeah, why can't we have this guy on this and that?
Yeah, so that's what it was. That's exactly what it was with Sneako. He has that yearning for the truth, and he probably made that case to whoever the fuck it was that was bullying him. He's like, why can't we have this guy on? Like, he's just saying things that are like factual, like he's shooting from the hip, he's just honest, and he's talking to Adam 22. I don't know, like Destiny, some feds, whoever the fuck is in the council with Sneako on Discord call. And they just bully him. They're just bullying him. They're just saying like, no, he's a white supremacist. Look what he said here. He's at Charlottesville, you motherfucker. Alright? You lost your career because of this fucking guy. And they just made him feel so bad that that's why he came to ambush him tonight.
And took all her shit. Took all her grandparents' shit. And she said, well, it's complicated. She said, he punished my family, but he has this complicated legacy.
Yeah, either
And
that
that's
or
what I like
we
about
can see
Russia.
who
They
really
see
involved that.
themselves as family. They still see us
It's like
as a
he needs to
national
prove
identity
himself.
that they all participate
Well, I think he would. I think he would only have that thought if he was bullied into
There are
it.
forces outside of the
Because
control.
he probably got bullied into that thought. Like, is he really a
And so do you
white
apologize
supremacist?
for
Is this really what this guy is? Like, did I really lose everything in my life because of this?
Bad and say, well, Stalin was horrible. Well,
But it's like
we're gonna
dude,
apologize.
those labels like white supremacists, white nationalists, like, dude, they just kill your thought process. 'Cause it's like, what is a white supremacist? Like, Fuentes just, if he calls himself a white supremacist, white nationalist, he just leans into it for the jokes, you know? But it's like, there's a much deeper conversation there. What is a white supremacist? Who made that term up? Who do you think? A bunch of J dubs. The term's not even real.
The flag, the battle flag of the Confederacy, and the memory of the Confederacy, as I'm sure any Southerner would tell you, and anyone who flies that flag would tell you, it's not about owning people. It's not about the chattel slavery of Africans or blacks.
Wait,
It is about their identity. It is about their distinct cultural identity. You could say their distinct sub-national identity, which is unique and is distinct.
It is
and
unique
has
and
its own
distinct.
history and has its own way.
It is, in fact, the Southern Confederacy is
The
a unique and
agricultural
distinct heritage.
society of the antebellum South is completely different than the North. And who am I? As somebody, again, who my ancestors came here 4 or 5 generations ago from Italy and Ireland and Mexico, who am I to come in here through Ellis Island or through Texas and start finger wagging and saying, you're not a real
He's got the right idea.
people that fought in
I told that to my mom at the same time. Because she was like, why do we have to wave their Confederate flags? I was like, Mom, how would you feel if some Turkish fuck or some Russian fuck came to Armenia and waved their Turkish or Russian flag and said that if you wave your Armenian flag, then you're a terrorist, then you're like, you're a racist.
And then they fought a civil conflict about the
It's like the same thing.
what it was going to be like. It matters less the particulars of that struggle or the substance of that issue at the time. It matters more their distinct national identity that they were fighting. And that they were fighting as Southerners, side by side, under that flag. It's not my identity. It's not my nation. Before I went to Charlottesville, I had never been to that part of Virginia. Before I went to Charlottesville, I think I had been to D.C. one time in 8th grade. And went to Arlington, Virginia on that trip. So I don't, as far as I can recall, I don't think I ever had even been to Virginia before Charlottesville, with the exception of a field trip in 8th grade and a college visit my senior year.
That's a really,
So
just
I
the point of him,
with the Robert E. Lee statue,
point about him
I never been to North Carolina.
wanting
I've
to
never been to South
rip
Carolina.
into Sneako but not doing it.
And you all know
It's just
that.
like an
You
interesting
all know
thought.
that, for better or for worse.
What?
But in spite of that, I will defend
I don't know.
their identity. I will defend their
It just
heritage. I
feels
will
interesting.
stand up and speak out, even though it's not mine.
'Cause
Even though, as you know, I cannot.
You could tell throughout the entire like conversation
And I can't.
your body language
I can't ride a horse or bird with a
that like what you said, like, you know, it checks a box.
I am not a farmer.
It's like,
so
oh,
I'm not
yeah, I
outdoors.
can't trust
I
you.
can't go hunting and fishing. And
But I'm not gonna come at you. I'm gonna keep things nice and friendly.
they are
until shit is really, until the bridge is burned by you.
completely apart.
Like he doesn't burn the bridge. If you burn the bridge, then
their story,
he never
their
burns the
history,
bridge.
their culture, their way of life, their heroes, their flag, their lost cause. Sort of this quixotic lost cause, their struggle.
That's why he's Nick from
And
life.
say that, well, they took over the federal
Because he doesn't stab you until you fucking like burn the
all said
bridge.
and done, the particular causes of those days wither and die away. What remains is the blood. What remains is the flag and the buildings and the holidays and the culture and the memory and those things. And those are the things that are worth preserving. Statues and honestly, I understand how black people might feel a certain way about that. I think I understand that. I can't fully understand though because I'm not black. And it is important for white people to recognize that that we don't have that. And I'm not trying to go faggot leftist mode here. I'm really not. But lately I've been trying to have a little bit of understanding because I've been talking to Sneako and I talked to these other guys and I've been talking to black people and for what it's worth, although I disagree with them fundamentally on a lot of things and we come from very different walks of life, and although I'm not going to go full leftist mode about it, it is important generally to listen to other people and to try to understand where they're coming from. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to get away with murder literally. That doesn't mean that we're going to chalk up everything to you just don't understand, you didn't grow up as a black man in America. I'm not saying that means that we can't have our own opinion on these things and we can't.
See, I think it all comes back to just, you gotta be able to lube up the other side. The way to do that, you can't, I realize you can't throw your beliefs onto the other person right off the bat. Like whether it's a black person, a tranny, or whatever. So me and my brother were talking about it, like, we were talking about like how to deal with trannies. He was just like, and he was talking about how like he had this like interaction with one because his one friend was friends with a tranny, so they were dealing with each other one time. And he's just like, I don't want to. He was telling me, he's like, I don't want to cause problems with anybody. But this tranny came up to me. You know, she comes up to me and says, you know, these are my pronouns. I'm like, sure, here you go. These are your pronouns. She, her, whatever. But his friend came up to him and said, why did you say this one thing? Because what he said to the trainee was, the trainee said, ask my brother, what are your beliefs? Do you believe that I'm a woman? Something like that. It's just like paraphrasing. My brother said, well, if you're asking me personally, no, you're not a woman. And he said that. and then his other friend came up to him later and said, why would you say that? That's like offensive. It's like, no, it's not. Because you asked for my beliefs. So don't ask for
that other person though, it's like, why even believe what you truly believe at all?
Yeah.
If you're not gonna, if you're always gonna like disclose your true belief, then like why even believe it?
Well, not only that, it's like, why are you asking for validation from someone else?
Yeah.
It's like okay, if you just keep it at, like my brother was saying it very clearly, like, I don't want any problem with you, so I will respect whatever you want me to respect, as in like, if you want my respect, okay, I'm not going to disrespect you right off the bat. But if you ask me for my beliefs about what you are, I will tell you the truth. And then if you get offended, that's not my problem.
Yeah, as soon as you get into that, you go down that rabbit hole and you get into that kind of detail.
Yeah.
All parts are off.
Exactly. It's like you can keep it cordial. You can keep it respectful if you want.
Some people, so that other people can feel better. And maybe the part that I agree with Sneako on is that there should be some kind of compromise. I think that some kind of a compromise is okay. But I would be on the side of, I would be against destroying monuments. The compromise for me would be, you want to create a monument to Frederick Douglass, then fine. You want to create a monument to Martin Luther King Jr.,
Sure,
then
it
fine.
exists.
You want to create a monument to Malcolm X, then okay. That would be, rather than let's tear down the statues of all the transgressors, which we tear down all of them, I would say if there's a give on the other side, then maybe you say, all right, let them have their Malcolm X statue, let them have, because I would be in favor of an MLK statue. I would like that. So maybe that's the
Are you hearing that?
People are saying it's so over. No, it's so over. It goes back to what is, what do we really believe? Because people say, well, they never compromise. And see, that's the kind of mentality that I don't really like, this reflexive. And it's tricky. Because Sneako, I can tell, is a good guy. He means well, and he is sincere. And for a guy like Sneako, I would say, yeah, you're obviously arguing in good faith, and I can meet you halfway, and I'm empathetic. It's tough, because he's a friend of mine. And so when he says that, I take what he says seriously, and I listen to what he says, and I don't agree with it. But I say, hey, well, he's my friend, and I do have respect for him, and he's an American, and he's patriotic. So it's hard for me to just slam the door and say, nope, no, you're just wrong. You just don't get it. No, we're keeping the money. You know what I'm saying? But on the contrary, you do have all these people. You do have a lot of people that are not good faith. You do have a lot of, and that's what I was trying to spell out. Is that you have a lot of people that are bad faith. That they want to see all the monuments go. They hate white people. They hate America. They hate our history. They don't just hate David Bedford Forrest. They don't just hate the KKK. They hate George Washington. They hate Lincoln. They hate Nixon. They hate Trump. They hate me. They probably hate you. And so it's not. So that makes it tricky because there is a side that doesn't want to compromise, and that's probably what.
Yeah, but see, this is what I don't get is that like
dominant position on the other side.
they're saying like they hate Washington, they hate Lincoln, like. Hasn't Fuentes gone off on like Washington being like a Freemason and shit? Like, and didn't he just bring up how Lincoln, he was like a straight racist? It's like, I don't know, it's like that whole point they were having in the conversation. Sneako was like, history's constantly changing, like, it's written by the winners. It's like,
probably does offend their conscience to some extent, and they can't get over.
and it's like, I don't know, it's like,
these kinds of things because
I don't know how to put this, like.
What? Because he was defending Lincoln and then saying Lincoln
So
was
that's
a
where it
racist,
becomes a
basically.
tricky issue. Now the idea about political
Saying that he was on the side of Lincoln, but then also
obviously
saying Lincoln was like a racist.
Who? Fuentes?
And in my ideal
No, he's just saying like I'm saying. Like, right now, he's saying like our culture, our heritage, Washington. They want to tear down the statues of Washington, Lincoln. But at the same time, like in the conversation, he was talking about like Lincoln being like an uber fucking mensch, and other streams talking about George Washington being a Freemason, anti-Christian. It's like ultimately, what is history? Is it just like the way you put a person or figures in history in that moment? Like in that moment, in this moment right now, you put Washington and Lincoln in a good light. But another moment, you put them in a bad light.
If you're really interested in politics, if you're interested in deep politics, you're probably not average IQ.
I don't know, I guess it's dependent on the
Average
context.
IQ and people that cluster around average IQ, go into the YouTube comment section. Watch.
Because, ultimately
advertise
it's like,
on TV and realize that an average IQ person is
I
going to
guess
find
they are kind of in a bad light, but in the context of this situation.
But it's like the point is like, what do
The
you?
point is that they are the founders, and you're not going to be able to erase the history. So you have to, I guess, honor in a sense what came before you that you're not going to change regardless of how you believe. Like, whether you actually side with that person or not, I think it's different from, given that person some sort of.
Okay, I see that. So obviously you don't want to tear down statues because of that. You want to honor that they were historical figures.
Yeah,
But then
technically, without their actions, you wouldn't even be existing.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't just wipe them clean.
What I'm saying is, okay, if the point that this show has made many times, one of them being Washington's and Freemason, Lincoln, the unearthed history about Lincoln is that he was literally like a white nationalist, white supremacist, like opposite of the perception that exists on the internet. How do you honor that history? You know, like that's the point. Okay, the history the way we honor the founders and Lincoln or whatever is by you erect statues of them and you create a story around them about how glorious they were. But are we not going to honor the quote-unquote dirty, dark side? And how do you do that?
People that say that you just got to compromise, I think they just don't know what they're talking about.
You know, it's like basically how do you give the full picture? Are you going to give the full picture? Are you going to honor the full picture?
And went to Charlottesville and lived through that response. And for Sneako's gotten some pushback.
Yeah, I think you should, honestly.
Yeah,
I think people should all understand all those aspects of those people. I mean, it's like,
he got banned from YouTube and God bless. He lives in a time
not the perfect guy.
No, obviously not.
Is he really like?
That's the thing.
No.
That's the
It's
thing.
like there's still
His
certain
legacy,
things you
his
respect.
legacy, according to the live shit, not just media, but probably textbooks and history books, would probably be that he was like, you know, all the horrible things about him, womanizer, racist, whatever the fuck.
I'm not trying to say that.
They'll give the bad picture.
But I'm saying listen up now. Now listen up because this is my lived experience. I've been a cancel guy for many years. I've seen a lot, and I've known the people involved.
Dude, I
been
hate
on
the fucking
the
way this
platforms,
kid talks.
in the movement.
Look at his mouth.
I've known people in the administration. I've known people in the first parts of the Senate right. I've been in the conferences. I know all
Like
the
his
things
jaw
that
just
talk
moves
about
like.
all the time. I know what I speak to.
His mouth's like.
And I will tell you that the conceit that if you just moderate your views, that you'll go farther, it's one of the biggest misconceptions.
No, he's right about
And I
that.
understand why people think that. I totally get it. I thought that way once too.
Wait, what did he say?
But
He said
as
that the
somebody that's
conceit
extremely
that
successful in this
if you
space,
just moderate your
and has
views a little bit, you'll go a lot farther. That's
large
what
audience
he said.
to a dissident platform and build a dissident platform and build a conference. And probably the most successful dissident in America who is not compromised, I will tell you that it is a total misconception. That if you just didn't say this, if you just didn't say it like that, then you could avoid the worst of the consequences. It doesn't work like that. And you look at it doesn't matter how big or small, it doesn't matter what walk of life they come from, you can say that about anything. If only Kanye didn't say that thing about George Floyd during that interview, if only he didn't say Jewish media, if only he didn't say slavery was a choice, if only he didn't wear the MAGA hat, then what?
Yeah.
If only Trump didn't say illegals are rapists, if only he didn't call him a Muslim man, if only he didn't say ground by the pussy, if only he didn't say shithole country, if only he didn't, then he'd be fine. If only Alex Jones didn't do Sandy Hook, if only he didn't debate David Duke, if only Tucker Carlson didn't make those comments on the Shock Jock show, if only Matt Walsh never said that 16-year-olds, it's not, that's not the end of the world, or whatever he said about that. You can say that about anybody. You can say that about literally anybody. If only they didn't go here, say this, associate with this one. And it's like Kanye said, who invented cancel culture? The Jews. That's not what he said. He said, who do you think invented cancel culture? And we apply it to the Jews. They run the media. They control the ADL. They run Hollywood. Okay? They run the financial sector. The idea that you're going to pull a fast one, the idea that you're going to have access to their system while undermining it in a really clever way, it's been tried.
Yeah,
What happens is fundamentally they draw a line and they say, are you our bitch or are you against us?
Yep.
And I'm not willing to say I'm a bitch.
Wait, who's he talking about?
That's different.
The Jews.
You can
He's talking about why you can't
calculate ambiguity, right? Which is to say,
This is why I wish he said Sneako.
What your real views are. You couch your real message in layers of hand. You obfuscate it. You obscure your message. I've heard that before. But eventually, what they'll do is they'll draw a line. They'll draw a firm, fine line, and they'll say, "Are you with us or are you against us?" And I will tell you 100,000%, everybody that's in the system has to get on their knees at some point and swear their loyalty. Everybody's got to pitch out. Everybody that's not punished.
Dude, that's so fucked. It's so fucked up.
And it will happen to them if it hasn't happened already. We'll have to bitch straight up. This idea that you can maintain that for a long time while telling the truth, and your audience understands what you're saying, eventually they're going to gain the leash. Because look, again, people are stupid. You can't be very subtle with what you say. And so you cannot say something that your audience is going to hear that the Jews and the elites are not going to hear. And when they hear it, they're not going to like it. They're going to want you to lose your platform. So this idea that you can maintain this game forever, where you're dog whistling, you're maintaining this coy message, but also you're down low or whatever, doesn't work. And they don't like that. Eventually they yank the leash. People are saying, L, what's the L for? Press L if you're loyal to the net. Okay. You're saying L to me. Eventually they yank the leash and they say, are you our bitch or are you not? And people say, yes, I am. And take a look at Ye. Ye's going off on the Jewish media, and everybody that has a job in Con can't talk about it. They can't. Candace Owens can't have him on her show. Now, how effective can she be? This is an opportunity. This is a world historical moment. An opportunity where we can wake people up. When black people really are waking up on this, and other people too. But specifically black people, because Ye is speaking their language here. And Candace Owens could be at the front lines talking about Jewish power, but she works for Ben Shapiro. And I like Candace Owens. I think she's courageous. I think she's brave. But she works at Daily Wire, and we know the restrictions that comes with. And so she can't be fully in defense. When Ye got his deal canceled by Adidas, she said, well, Adidas can cancel whoever they want, but they better pay him. What? They can cancel whoever they want? No, they fucking can't. That's a totally horrible society. They can cancel him, the ADL cancel him. And I know she knows it. And again, I think she's more courageous than most, and I like her. We know that on some level she can't really fight on side by side as a soldier of Ye because of who her boss is. And that just goes back to the English. And now some people can do that, and I think it's a real debate. As always, in any political movement, you always have that debate about tactics, about how pure, how extreme, what are the tactics. You always have that debate. They have that debate in the Middle East, they have that debate in Russia, they have that debate everywhere in the world. Where you've got politics, and you've got sides, you've got people in either
I feel
side.
like Sneako's watching this right now and be like, it's too true. It's too true. I can't take it. I can't go against them.
If we do certain things, it's going to create an equal
Yeah.
response. If we don't do things, we're not going to advance. That's always a debate.
Nick, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Accept my apology.
I like that. You ever see that movie, the Star Wars movie Rogue One? I don't like that movie, but I really like the character that's played by what's his name? Who's that black guy? I forget his name, the actor. But he plays Saw Gerrera.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And I remember in Star Wars, they go, Saw Gerrera, he's a terrorist, he's an extremist, he's a radical. And I like to think of myself as that. Not like I'm a terrorist, but I like to think of myself as Saw Gerrera. Like too radical for the rebels. I'm too radical for the rebel alliance. Boy, no, Forrest Whitaker, that's right. He's a weird guy. I like to think of myself as the guy where even the rebels are like, he's an extremist. they go to my cave dwelling with my loyalists, and I've got my robot suit. I like to do myself like that. So, I'm like Saw Gerrera.
What are you looking at?
I gotta watch this cock, but
Now, I haven't seen Clone Wars or Rebels, so I don't know the whole lore. I only know it from Rogue One and from
What is this shit?
But in any case, I
This
definitely.
cookie slaughtered
is that really what the happens sometimes? Oh shit.
Is this cop 4?
That you have to face it.
No, this is
Wow, this guy messaged him before he killed him.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot
you
of
never
people
seen
are.
it?
No.
A lot of people are.
Behind you.
And if I can inspire intelligent people, if I can inspire thousands of intelligent young men to get involved and be more clean cut than me, I've done my job. I don't see it as my job to be the sanitized functionary that is actualize this on a policy level every day. I don't see. I see myself as the icebreaker. I see myself as the giant ship, the giant unstoppable ice-breaking ship that breaks the ice. Okay, that smashes through the ice and allows the other ships to go through.
true.
What happened to Cozy?
The giant, unstoppable, ice-breaking ship that breaks the ice. Okay, that smashes through the ice and allows the other ships to go through.
Alright, fuck it.
Yeah, he's just preaching at this point.
Yeah, he's riffing.
I want the base shit. Yo, shots for tonight. Did his stream just die?
Yeah, I think so. If they're saying that, it did. Massage.
Yeah. Dude, look at this chat. That shit cracks me the fuck up.
Yeah.
Juice. Like, look at it. It just goes off. Dude, that's what makes him dangerous, dude.
Yeah.
He can just deploy a group of men anywhere he wants.
Yeah. I know.
It must be amazing that.
Dude, I know. I could only have like 50 men to do that.
Technical difficulties that lost me as a viewer.
True.
Well, we're still live streaming with 0 viewers.
What's this called? Pepperoni Boys?
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I got some dessert on. It's the fucking Pepperoni Boys!
Pepperoni Boys, B-O-Y-S.
Huh?
B-O-Y-S.
Yeah. It's the motherfucking Pepperoni Boys!
How do I, is there an underscore or anything?
Huh?
Is there an underscore or anything?
No. Just use the filter. Use the filter at the top. And just look for channels.
It's the one. It's the third one.
No, wait. It's the second one.
Yeah. So.
18 subscribers? How do we get 18 subscribers on it?
Dude, that's one of my other channels that I just repurposed right now.
What was this channel used for at one point? What was on the channel?
I don't remember. I really don't.
Don't lie to me.
I think it was like Black Hole content.
out of my fucking way.
No one more.
Oh, I almost forgot.
You were quiet.
Dude, why is the X button not fucking working?
Okay, my turn. How many times have you been saying that?
That's the first one I had.
We got one viewer.
Get out. Get out, faggot.
This is for us.
Get out, faggot. Fuck you. I wonder if there's one viewer is. Yo, let us get some super chat money. Is there a live chat?
Maybe. Colors though.
Who are you? Why are you watching?
Maybe it's you.
Oh, shit.
Just gave yourself a finger.
One moment, guys. Definitely doing it next week. Fuck it.
So after this, we need to figure out how to improve this bullshit stuff.
So we know, let's just go on Amazon, just barely go up.
Well, we need Mike's stand for that. Rechargeable battery for your camera, so that it can be charged as it's live stream. I already have some of the equipment actually. If we want to connect to the TV. It's the one thing we're missing is the actual like Fuentes string in like the corner or something.
Wait, to put what? To get the stream recording?
You need I have that with me. You need like a HDMI adapter so you can connect to the TV that's playing and feed that video into the OBS. Nice job.
That always happens. I don't know how you get through this thing how it works.
Bro. Nice jump. Oh. Oh, well, you gotta make it. Oh, shit. I think both of these are from
Those two dudes though? Shit. Yeah, it is.
Alright, what do you want to do tomorrow? Do you want to just take the camera into the bar and just start spamming some bullshit?
Yeah. Let's just start fucking with people.
What's the best bar for that?
I gotta go work out bills.
Which is where?
I gotta go work out.
Sluckers.
Maybe. Let's go.
No, nigga. What are you waiting for? Oh, shit. I said it so loud. Damn.
She didn't say anything. Go.
Faith is gonna kill me. If she sees this.
Does she know this account?
No, she doesn't. I keep many secrets from her.
You do what you do to survive. You do what you have to do.
You are a man. Men do the best.
Well,
He just doesn't give a shit. He just keeps going. Is he even a real person? Is that an NPC?
it's not easy. Oh, that guy was just sitting around. Just as my boy Meek Mill once said, some niggas that make it happen, some niggas that watch it happen, some niggas that don't even know what the fuck's going on. The truest words Meek Mill has ever spoken.
Everyone's a Miko now.
Yeah, get on the phone now.
On my phone?
No, I'm saying like that was for or something. Shit. Oh.
Don't leave. Oh, did you lose? No, you didn't.
Just give a second. Now I'm starting off behind. It's just racked with me.
That's your fault. That's your own fault.
What you did to me? What you did? Look what you did. You did this to me. Get out of my way! I hate that angle. I can't see anything. What? Did I say something funny?
Nigga. Yeah. It's all funny, nigga. What? God damn it. Why am I saying that?
Am I a clown? Do I amuse you?
Why you suck?
It's your fault. It's your fault. You gotta make start room. Some niggas that make it happen. Some niggas that watch it happen. Some niggas that don't even know what the fuck is going on.
Alright, put on the song.
I can't remember what song was that.
It's good that we did this tonight, though. We were resourceful in setting up the camera stuff. Hmm? Yeah, but still, we didn't want to stop this. See, that's the thing, though. That like that's why we need to live with each other, so that these little steps of progression can happen every day. Oh, what the fuck? Be chill. Oh shit. Oh no, fuck you. Oh, fuck you. Is this song?
Yeah. The rest is just like nigga shit.
Alright, I want blue notes. I want blue notes. I want
It was
blue
like
notes.
one line of truth, and then the rest was just nigga shit.
I want blue notes, bro. I'm a dope dealing N-word. I'm a dope dealing N-word, bro.
That's what I want to listen to. Oh, God. This is the full song.
Bro, give me blue notes. I only like that song from me. No.
Forget about
That's
me.
the only one
We're on
I
to
like.
bigger and better things.
Alright, Sigala, John Newman.
No, Jay Electronic record. Let's go.
She had like trauma like that.
Bro.
Magic eraser. It's a game changer. I'll tell you what.
He's a real one. He's a Kanye. He's like a low key Kanye.
Amazing. My name is Jesse. I'm a Google Pixel.
I find that hard to believe.
Dude, he like moved around to a lot of cities. He lived in Philly for a while too. He literally talks about it. Yeah. I think he talked about this song. I love like these old samples, dude. I can't get over it.
Forgive you what you need. Fuck me. Oh my god. Different?
Broad Street. Dude, he's been all over. North Philly, South Philly. Oh, shit. Dude, Jay Electronica is crazy. He's like, nobody knows where he is at all. He's really the most like low-key person.
Is that mega so?
He's also almost 50 years old.
He's 50 years old and he's supposed to be the Kanye of Philly?
No, he's not the Kanye of Philly. He's from New Orleans. He's like one of those guys that's like very not spoken about in the industry, but very
Yeah, I've heard about him.
he's like
I've heard
very,
about him.
very respected by all the other
I've heard
artists.
about him, yeah, he's a good producer.
But he's like not like mainstream in the industry.
But why is that?
I don't know, because I think he's just like he's a real one. Like he doesn't want to have to like come out and like
Suck a Jew dick.
suck a Jew dick and shit. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Like that's why he's like super respected by everyone because he's like he's one of them, but he also he's not like he gives up the fame just to like stay true to himself.
Damn, it's literally what it comes down to.
It says here he's signed for a commission, but I don't even know what that means anymore. Dude, he's 46. He released that song 12 years ago, so he was what 34. He released his first song, and dude, that's crazy. He was like 30, 31 by the time he even released like his first big song. Oh, you brought that? Right, thank you.
Yeah, I know you finished it though.
How did you
That's my shit. I got two little packs left.
Oh, so you a nigga
I double pack. I don't know about you, nigga, but I double pack. I don't care that I'm saying nigga on YouTube. I'm saying it. Should I just stop? I think I'm gonna stop. I think it was a worthy experiment. We did it. We went for it.